Hello, good listener. My name is Noma Mdlazi, and this is Life Simplified. Thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful podcast, a podcast where we discuss all the inspirational, relevant information for your personal development. Understanding personal development is of utmost importance so you could understand yourself as a person, to understand what actually works for you and what doesn't, so you could be able to manage your mental health as well and evolve as a person, right? Science says that we'll build new bodies every 11 months, so it is important that within every 11 months you make sure that you learn something that could build you, that could contribute to your personal being. The goal here is to evolve, is to be better, right? To be better than yesterday, not to be better than the next person, but to be better than your previous version of yourself, right? So today in this podcast we discuss emotional intelligence. We discuss emotional intelligence and how to develop emotional intelligence. So the first thing I'd like us to discuss is to explain exactly what is emotional intelligence, right? So emotional intelligence is the ability to control your emotions, take authority over your emotions without dictation from the external world. What this means is that you take authority of how you feel in every circumstance, in any encounter, in any experience, right? It means that if someone comes here and they insult you, even if that diminishes your character, it makes you feel too low, right? But it is your choice to be brave enough and not be angry and not be sad, and decide your own emotional state regardless of being insulted. That's what emotional intelligence is. What I realized is that most people struggle very much with emotional intelligence, and I decided that from the content that I've always been consuming over the years, it is important for me to share this with many other people, to understand that it is very important for each one of us to be emotionally intelligent, so we could understand and be able to control what ends up manifest in our lives, right? Because if you can control your emotions, rule number one, then you can ultimately control what continues to manifest over your lives in the end, right? Because many people do a lot of things, a lot of mistakes, because of anger, right? Because of sadness, right? You shouldn't spend too much time trying to respond to the external dictations through your emotional being. You should be able to stabilize your emotional health so you could be able to end up to control what manifests in the end in your life. Because if, just with the scenario I stated before, that if somebody comes to and insults you and you choose to do nothing, you choose to you choose not to respond to the situation, then somewhere later, if there is trouble somewhere somehow, then you know that you did not cause any havoc, but you were the victim over the situation. So in that manner, you were able to control the entire situation just by saying that nothing, just by not being angry as well, and end up doing something that'll dictate the situation to another extent, right? So it is important for us to be emotionally intelligent, so we could understand what actually happens, what happens in the end, right? So before we discuss the 6 steps to develop and improve emotional intelligence, we have to understand that number 1, awareness of your emotion. It is important that when you hear or you experience a tragic experience, you are aware of your emotion. That's where your conscious mind comes in. You should appreciate and acknowledge that, okay, this is how I feel right now, and you accept it as it is. Number 1, you have to be aware of your emotion. Be aware that I'm angry now, and I have to be angry, right? Number 2, harnessing emotion to the relevant task. It is important for you to understand that you have to focus your emotion to the relevant task with whatever that it is that you want to accomplish, right? So number 3, manage emotions and those of others. It is important to understand that you have to try and manage your own emotions before you could manage those of others. Yes, I do understand that you have less control of how others feel, right? You have less control of other people's emotions, right? But it is important for you to try and calm them at least, right? So these are the 6 steps to develop and improve in emotional intelligence. These are the following. Number 1, you acknowledge your emotions, right? You understand that this is how you feel, right? And it is important for you to appreciate, to acknowledge, to understand that, yes, bandithukile, and I have to feel like this. And once your conscious mind acknowledges that this is how you feel and you have to feel like this, then you can respond better to the circumstance, right? You can respond better to that guy who's accusing you or lying about you. You appreciate that I have to be angry, right? Because this is what's bad. This is bad. This is sad. And this makes me angry, right? Number 2, differentiate and analyze your emotions. It is important for you to differentiate your emotions and analyze them. You break them down internally. You understand that this is how I have to feel, right? Number 3, accept and appreciate your emotions. It is very important for you to appreciate your emotions. You appreciate this is how you feel. This is how you have to feel because this is something sad has happened, without trying to be strong, without trying to be bossy in any manner, but you acknowledge your emotions, right? Number 4, reflect on emotions and their origin. Knowing why you feel the way you do helps you handle the feeling, right? It is important for you to understand that it is your own responsibility to figure out why is it that you have this kind of emotion. Why are you angry? Yes, figure out that, then you can deal with it later and resolve it in your mental state in a certain way, right? It is important for you to know why you feel the way you do, because there's other people, they just wake up Alice said Demoto, and you're asking yourself, why is it? But it is important that when you wake up sad, you figure out in your mind, why am I sad? It could be an experience from yesterday. It could be ulele kabuhlungu or awulalanga kakuhle, right? Just figure out what it is that makes you feel the way you feel. So you could be able to analyze the entire situation and make your own conclusion with that situation. If it's something that's beyond your control, you accept it and you live with it. If there's anything you can do with that situation, you try and resolve the situation, right? So you could be at peace, right? Number 5, handle emotions. Take authority over your emotions. Do not allow the external world to dictate your emotions, because if you can't you don't give yourself authority over your own emotions, it means that you become the victim of everything and everyone around you. It means that when unyiswa bubomi, you will always be sad. You will always break down. You won't have the bravery to be bold enough and embrace the experience, right? It means that when you're always the victim of whatever that's happening in your life, if someone gives you a tragic experience, you get fully absorbed in that experience, and you can't always differentiate yourself from that. If they give you a bad experience, then you start to moody. If they make you happy, they like you, then you become happy. No, it is important for you to take authority over your own emotions. Even today, I keep saying that ever since I consumed this kind of content, no one nobody can just mess up my day in anyhow, because I've took authority over my own emotions, and I understand that whatever it is that umntu ayenzayo kum uyenzela yena. Do you understand? And that has nothing to do with me. And that gives you such an open-minded position to understand that you've got so much authority over how you feel, regardless of how the world treats you. In the end, your emotions are of your own priority, and it is important for you to prioritize them, to understand them, to appreciate, to acknowledge them. So it is important to take dominion over your own emotions, so you could understand that the world is limitless for your own life. Because it is important that you can't always be happy because somebody tries to make you happy, and be angry when someone insults you. You don't necessarily always have to respond to such. Yes, you can respond if that's what you want, but if you don't want, for an example, I don't want to be a victim of other people's experiences. If they are sad, Lynn, I should be sad. If they are happy, Lynn, I should be happy. No, I choose my own emotional state every day, and nobody can take that emotional state and bring it down in any manner, in anything. Angathetha ndoni umntu, angathetha ndoni in anything, in any way, angarenkana. I don't care. What matters is my emotional being every day, every moment. Right? So number 6, you have to handle emotions of others. It is very important for us to commit ourselves to help others try and resolve their emotions so they could feel better. If somebody feels sad, then try and help them out. Figure out what could be the problem. Then maybe you could be able to help them resolve the matter. But it is of utmost importance for us to understand that we have the responsibility to help each other handle each other's emotions, right? Emotional intelligence is truly a matter of how you respond to the environment. So it is important for us to respect and acknowledge other people's emotions, and understand that they are their own humans and they have to feel the way they do, and it is only exposure to information that could alleviate the burden that they could have, right? In understanding that they do need as well to be exposed to the kind of information that we are exposed in, and understanding that you have to take authority over your own emotions. You are the master of your own fate and the captain of your own ship. It is important for us to take authority of how we feel at the end of the day, because if you feel sad, then anything else that revolves around you around that moment, it will be said. Is that what you want? No, You want to take authority of how you feel so that you take authority of whatever continues to manifest afterwards, right? It is very important for us to understand that emotional intelligence is a skill that all of us have to develop, right? We should be able to understand how to protect our emotions so we could just live freely and understand that we can take dominion over how we feel regardless of how the external world treats us in a way. Thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful podcast. I hope you have learned so much so you could be able to reflect on yourself as well, to understand that you have dominion over your own body, mind, body, and emotions. That is so powerful. That's why God esithi nina niyityuwa yehlabathi. And I realized with this that we are truly dominant over anything. We are dominant even on ourselves as well. So it is important for us to take authority and live in a peaceful manner, be able to replicate everything that manifests over our lives the way we want it to manifest, right? Thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful podcast. Bye.